Over the weekend, the father of suspended Notre Dame receiver Davaris Daniels told a Chicago television station that Notre Dame has mishandled the academic scandal and that he knows his son has done nothing wrong. Philip Daniels also said that another player's girlfriend only proofread his son's papers but didn't write them. And that's how the week begins as this saga in South Bend continues. Ray Crawford here with our college football analyst Doug Chapman, managing editor Pete Fiutak as well. And Few, you wrote an article on CampusInsiders.com about this whole situation. You believe the timing of this minimizes the damage at Notre Dame.
Yeah, especially for Brian Kelly because nobody cares. Johnny Manziel is playing Monday Night Football. Jadeveon Clowney's lighting it up. The college season kicks off next week. If this had happened in February or March, then there'd be a big-time focus looking at the Elizabeth Seaberg situation, Declan Sullivan, the whole history of stuff that's been happening under Brian Kelly's watch. And time after time after time, the administration has to show support for Brian Kelly. Next week, again, we're kicking this thing off. We're getting this all rolling. So a couple players are being investigated. They haven't really been suspended yet. They're kind of in limbo. If this actually happens, they're all kicked off, and there's more to come. If there's a lot of players involved in this, it becomes a bigger thing, obviously. But at the immediate moment, all right, you got race in a couple days.
Former Notre Dame star standout Aaron Taylor, who has turned into a broadcaster about being a distraction, he told the South Bend Tribune on Friday, quote, something other than the game of football and rice is going to be what the players are going to be asked about constantly. And yes, that's going to be a distraction. Doug, do you agree?
I absolutely agree. And right now, the players aren't definitely off the team. But it's the air, the cloud of that is there. You've got three guys on defense who are starters and or major contributors, and your best wide receiver coming back. That's going to be very disruptive, not knowing if those guys are going to be there week 1, if they'll be back week 4. You don't know when these guys are going to be there, if they're going to be there at all. And there's never just 4 guys. You know, I've been through situations, I've seen situations like this before. It's never just 4 guys on a team cheating. So the guys that names have not been brought up yet, the guys you haven't heard of yet, they've got to walk around every single day wondering, when am I going to get called into the office? When am I going to be questioned? So that mental disruption is going to be there for the guys on the team, as well as thinking about, are we going to have these 4 guys back by week 1?
See, I hate this. Here's the problem is it's a convenient narrative either way. If they aren't great against Rice, if they lose to Michigan, oh, they're distracted. If they beat Rice and look great, if they beat Michigan, oh, the team rallied together. They're just going to go out there and play. These kids are just going to get out there and play football.
Your prediction for this team before Friday and what it is now?
Yeah, I thought they were probably a fringe college football playoff team. If everything magical happened, they could probably be 10-2. 11-1 gets them close to the pin. You know, losing some key players like this, though, with this schedule probably makes them around an 8-4 team. They're not going to go into the tank or anything like this. This is still a very strong, very deep team. So I think they'll be all right. 8-4, probably at worst.
Yeah, very strong and deep, but you have Golson coming back who hasn't played college football an entire year. You take away his security blanket, his best wide receiver, if Daniels is not able to make it back. Other side of the ball, defensively, where they had issues sometimes last year, you lose 3 players of that caliber. Look at their schedule. That Michigan game is going to be tough. Then October, you've got North Carolina, Stanford, a road trip to Florida State. They were a top 20 team before this. They're out of my top 25 right now.
In an interesting twist over the weekend, check out who Brian Kelly had a chat with and who let him visit with his Irish players. Yes, none other than Maurice Clarett, who himself was in hot water in the classroom and out at Ohio State.
Should have had him in last semester.
They're going to bring in Jim Tressel then to talk about how to handle bull swag.
That's the next thing. How will all this affect Brian Kelly's efforts on the recruiting trail, if at all? We talk with our recruiting insider, Alan True. Check out the video on CampusInsiders.com.
These guys are distracted. They're going to get out there and play football. It'll be fine.